When I think of Bayview and living there, I think about it a lot. There are a couple things that come to mind. One is that in many ways it's sort of the east side of the south side. It shares in some ways the industrial character of the south side's heritage, but it's also the place where there are more tastes and trends going on, like the east side of Milwaukee. Become really welcoming for younger people, especially millennials, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of continuity. There's a lot of older families there. I've lived there for 37 years because that's how old my oldest son is. And when we've been there for that long, and there are certain circles where we can still feel like newcomers. A lot of that's nightlife. It's the restaurant scene, it's affordable housing in what is so clearly a strong neighborhood. When the Hone Bridge opened back in 1977, that was huge for Bayview. What it did was it put Bayview within 10 minutes of downtown Milwaukee. Bayview is one of two Milwaukee neighborhoods that was once an independent suburb. The other is North Milwaukee. Bayview incorporated back in 1879, so it became its own suburb, collected its own taxes, jailed its own drunks. After 8 years of independence, Bayviewites voted overwhelmingly to consolidate with the city of Milwaukee. So in 1887 is when Bayview changed from a suburb to a neighborhood. The neighborhood went from Lincoln Avenue down to Oklahoma and from the lake to about First. So it covered most of what is considered the present area of Bayview today. Bayview begins back in 1868 when an iron mill called the Milwaukee Iron Company. They were the second largest maker of railroad rails in the entire country. There's not a sign, there's not a shred of evidence of the mill itself. Where it was on the south end of the Dan Hone Bridge. Bayview developed as a company town built around that mill. It exists only because of that mill. And back in those days, there was open land between the city of Milwaukee and Bayview, so there was a resident workforce who walked to work, set their watches by the mill whistle. The mill's gone, but what Bayview looks like today is absolutely a product of that period in Bayview's history. Early on, the people who settled there were largely European immigrants. Later on, it was Poles and Italians coming in. And the Italians who settled in Bayview, those were northern and central Italians. And what's left there today, names like DiMarini's restaurant, Grappi's Market, although it's no longer in the family. The well on Pryor Avenue is called the Iron Well. This is the only place in Milwaukee you can get water that's not from Lake Michigan. That is, it's a real vestige of the Bayview village from way back in the 1870s. Wonderful parks, the most striking being South Shore Park and Bayview Park, that whole stretch of lakefront. You have Humboldt Park. That's everything from chill on the hill to tennis courts, ice skating and hockey in the wintertime. Busy and just beloved by the people of Bayview. Even though it's become more metropolitan, I describe Bayview very simply as a part of the city, apart from the city.